Hello everyone, my name is Satyam. Today we are going to learn about poverty in India. What is poverty? Poverty means hunger and lack of shelter. It is a situation in which parents are not able to send their children to school. A situation where sick people cannot afford treatment. Poverty also means lack of clean water and sanitation facilities. It also means lack of a regular job at a minimum decent level. Above all, it means living with a sense of helplessness. Poverty as seen by social scientists. Since poverty has many facets, social scientists look at it through a variety of indicators. Usually, the indicators used relate to the levels of income and consumption. Analysis of poverty based on social exclusion and vulnerability is now becoming very common. Social exclusion. Social exclusion is a complex and multidimensional process. It involves the lack or denial of resources, rights, goods, and services, and the inability to participate in the normal relationships and activities available to the majority of people in a society, whether in economic, social, cultural, or political arenas. Poverty line. A common method used to measure poverty is based on the income or consumption level. A person is considered poor if his or her income or consumption level falls below a given minimum level necessary to fulfill the basic needs. What is necessary to satisfy the basic needs is different at different time and in different countries. Each country uses an imaginary line that is considered appropriate for its existing level of development and its accepted minimum social norms. While determining poverty line in India, a minimum level of food requirement, clothing, footwear, fuel and light, educational and medical requirements are determined for subsistence. Poverty estimates in advanced economies are based on the calculations of relative poverty with the average standard of living used as the reference point. People are counted as poor if they cannot maintain this level. Here is the image of the poverty estimates of China, Sub-Saharan Africa, South Asia, East Asia and the Pacific. You can see the changes in the poverty estimates. There is a substantial decline in poverty ratios in India from about 45% in 1993 to 94 to 37.2% in 2004 to 5. The proportion of people below poverty line further came down to about 22% in 2011 to 12. If trend continues, people below poverty line may come down to less than 20% in the next few years. The number of poor declined from 407 million in 2004 to 5 to 270 million in 2011 to 12, with an annual average decline of 2.2 percentage points during 2004 to 5 to 2011 to 12. India has not counted its poor since 2011. But the United Nations estimated the number of poor in the country to be 364 million in 2019, or 28% of the population. All the estimated new poor due to the pandemic is an addition to this. Vulnerability. Vulnerability to poverty is a measure which is the probability of certain communities or individuals becoming or remaining poor in the coming years. Almost by definition, poor people are more vulnerable to shocks regardless of their origin because they are poor. Any impact on their asset or consumption level threatens subsistence and long-term prospect, and they have less resource to reduce risk or cope with the shock when it occurs. Percentage of poor. Here in this picture you can see the percentage of the poor peoples. Interstate disparities. Interstate disparities, in layman's terms, are the proportion of poor people of one particular geographical boundary or state is not the same in other states as well. In other words, the amount of poor people is not the same as other states. Indicators: education, health, food, water supply, sanitation, and housing. Peak-well approach uses a simple index derived from infant mortality rate, life expectancy, and literacy rate as a measure of development. Here in this picture you can see the interstate disparities between other different countries. Global poverty scenario. According to the World Bank, the ratio or percentage of the population living below the poverty line in developing countries has come down from 28% in 1990 to 21% in 2001. Poverty has declined substantially in most regions of the world like China, East Asia and Pacific, South Asia, Latin America and the Caribbean. Hunger, lack of sanitation and access to clean water, lack of resources for proper health care are the main reasons. Here you can see the global poverty scenario of the world, Africa, the south of Sahara and South Asia. Causes of poverty. One of the biggest causes of poverty in India is the country's high population growth rate. This leads to a high rate of illiteracy, inadequate healthcare facilities, and a lack of financial resources. Another reason for poverty in India is the caste system and unequal distribution of money and resources. Anti-poverty measures. The interventions that end poverty in India implemented include sustainable farming, dairy farm development, women's economic empowerment, and skill training and vocational education program. It aims at providing basic services such as primary health, primary education, rural shelter, rural drinking water, and rural electrification. Thank you for watching.